So no invite, but they're going anyway. Vice President J.D. Vance says he'll join his wife Usha for a visit to Greenland this Friday. President Trump is insistent on a U.S. takeover of the world's biggest island, despite the country's leaders saying it'll never happen. The VP and Second Lady clearly feeling the Arctic freeze because they are now changing their travel plans, reducing the chance that they'll actually cross paths with all the angry Greenlanders who don't want them there. Jeffrey Gettleman is a foreign correspondent with the New York Times. He's been tracking this, writing about it. He's been there. Jeffrey, you just spent 12 days in Greenland, traveling the island. You shared your experience on the Daily podcast. What do you think about what's going on?
I think it's really interesting. It seems like the Trump administration keeps putting pressure on Greenland because, as Trump has said, he wants to get it one way or the other. But all their efforts so far just seem to backfire and push the Greenlanders farther away from the U.S. and make them less interested in joining the U.S.
So the U.S. obsession for Greenland isn't new. We've talked about that. I mean, it's something that's been floating out there since the 1800s. So why do you think Trump is so obsessed with this, this time around?
I think that's like a great question. When he first brought this up in 2019 in his first term, a lot of people were like, what's he talking about? Greenland? It just sort of fell flat and there was no understanding of the history. And a lot of us just were surprised. But as you said, the US has made many attempts since the 1860s to acquire Greenland. It's been part of Denmark for more than 300 years, but it's actually in North America. And the capital of Greenland is closer to Washington than it is to the capital of Denmark, Copenhagen. So there are reasons why American leadership has eyed Greenland as this big piece of territory, not too far from the US, a stepping stone between Europe and the United States, as a place that they want to be better connected to be more closely connected to. And I think Trump initially came into it with this in mind. He's a real estate guy, and he was looking at it as the three prime rules of real estate: location, location, location. More recently, though, we've heard interest in minerals. Greenland has a lot of minerals. It has iron, copper, platinum, lithium, lots of stuff that's very valuable right now. But they're really hard to get because they're buried under ice. Most of the island is blocked in by ice along the sea for most of the year. There's not many roads. And so exactly like how to make Greenland a really productive part of the United States, he hasn't explained that.
So you said that Trump has overplayed his hand with Greenland. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that all the efforts they've made so far have just not worked, and they've actually pushed Greenlanders farther away, created more resentment, more animosity, and importantly, more fear. Greenlanders are scared of the United States. They think that the US is going to swallow them up and they're going to lose what little autonomy they've achieved from Denmark. And so the first thing that happened was Trump sent his son, Don Jr., in January. That visit didn't go over very well. He had these social media influencers with him that were passing out $100 bills on the streets. And there's a video of one Greenlandic guy just ripping up the bill saying, "You can't buy us. This is offensive." And then he talks about sending this high-level delegation to this dog race this week, which is one of their more cherished traditions, and they weren't invited. The Vances, the second lady, Usha Vance, the wife of J.D. Vance, wanted to go to the race, and the organizers said, "We never invited her." And so now it just seems like every time the U.S. reaches out, it just doesn't produce the intended effect.
Jeffrey Gettleman, great to read your work and great to have you on TV. Appreciate it.
Thank you.